Hey, bet you never thought you'd see me here again. Just kidding. So here we are. We're doing 5.3 slope-intercept form SWABAT. Write and graph linear equations using slope-intercept form. So super important. I'm going to tell you now, you're probably going to hear me say slope-intercept form about, I don't know, a lot of times. You can keep a tally if you want, but it's going to be a lot. Why? Because it's super important. So here's the thing. This is where your page starts for your notes. Vocabulary. Linear parent function. The simplest function of a family of function is of the form y equals x. Why? Because it's the most basic. There's no number in front of the x. It's not plus anything. It's not minus anything. It's not divided by anything. It's just y equals x. The graph of y equals x will always look like this blue line that you see in front of you. It's kind of like direct variation, except the k would be 1. For us, that's going to relate to slope in just a little bit, but k and slope for today and pretty much forever are the same thing, except when we're talking about constant of variation, we're going to say k if it varies directly. If it's just a regular equation, we're going to be calling it m for slope instead. Anywho, more on that later on. But this, again, is your parent function, and then every single other graph will be compared to that. It could be higher than that, it could be lower than that, it could be more steep or less steep. So let me see, more steep would be something like that, meaning it's going to struggle a little bit more to climb up. Less steep would be more like that, as we talked about in your warm-up. So everything will be compared to this line, y equals x. It's the parent function. Alright, so here's what I want you to know. A little more vocabulary. Y-intercept. That's the coordinate of a point where the graph crosses the y-axis. So the y-axis is the one that goes up and down like this. And then your y-intercept is where your graph crosses this line. So if you're looking back, yikes, if you're looking back here, it's where it crosses this line right here, the vertical line. It's always going to be a coordinate, and the first part of it's going to be 0, comma, whatever the y-intercept, so we're going to call it b. 0, b. So whatever the point is along this line. Why is it 0? Well, remember it goes x and y, and the x part will always be 0. It's kind of a preview for later on. The x part will always be 0 when you're talking about the y-intercept. Alright, so now back to our phrase that pays for the day, slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. A linear equation of the excuse me, of a non-vertical line is written as y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. We talked about a couple lessons ago. M is your slope, and remember the things about slope. A couple things. Number one, it's the rise over the run. So the top number still tells you up and down. Bottom number tells you left and right. When we're graphing, that's going to be super duper important, because the m, the slope, tells us how to move. Wish I could spell. Tells us how to move. It's actually French. That's why it's the variable m. It's not because it tells us m for move, slope. Slope, monter, something, I don't know. Ask your French teacher. But it's going to tell us for graphing where to move. Y-intercept, also super important. It is of the form y equals, it's of the form 0b. And so it's always going to look like 0, comma b for your y-intercept. And b is super duper helpful. Why? Because it tells me where to begin. It tells me where to begin. Okay, that was like 4.5 minutes of just vocabulary. I know you enjoyed it, but it's all super duper important. So, with that in mind, a couple things that they would like for me to do. Find the slope for this first example and the y-intercept of the graph of the equation. Now, in order for us to do that, the first thing that I need to do is to get each equation in slope-intercept form. That's y equals mx plus b. M being your slope, bam, b being your y-intercept. So Looking at this first equation, I have y plus 1/2 x equals negative 4. I was just telling you, if you're looking at this, y needs to be by itself. Right now it's not. I need to get rid of this plus 1/2 x. How would we do that? Well, the opposite of adding 1/2 x is to subtract it. So do me the favor, please, and subtract 1/2 x on both sides. Minus 1/2 x minus 1/2 x. This is not the new part of the lesson. So you have y is equal to, now these are not like terms, but a couple sections ago was where I was telling you, yeah, that's my game plan, was where I was telling you that I want to make sure that you put it in this form where the x part comes first. So negative 1/2 x minus 4. This is where it counts. Okay, the next thing they asked me to do is to find the slope and to find the y-intercept. Now the slope is always whatever number is in front of x. It does not include the x. So it's just negative 1/2. And the y-intercept is negative 4. However, I'm always going to ask you to write it as a coordinate. So 0, negative 4. Because it's the y-intercept, it's going to be a better connection for when we actually have to graph these. Alright, looks beautiful to me. For your next example, what do we need to do? We need to get y by itself, but I believe for order of operations, we kind of want to simplify a little bit first. So y minus 5 is fine. Equals, let's distribute here and here. 1/3 times x is 1/3 x. Minus 1/3 times 9 is 3. This is probably going to be a 2-video lesson. Not because I'm rambling, it's just because I'm rambling. Okay, adding 5 to both sides, I have y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2. But my rambles all have a point. Okay, y is by itself. I'm in slope-intercept form. Remember, it was y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b. So what's my slope? It's like the m, it's 1/3. And what's my y-intercept? It's not 2. What is it as a coordinate? 0, 2. That's it, beautiful people. Alright, let's try the next one, final one together. And then if you feel really confident in it though, you are always welcome to pause and do it solo. You can fast forward through this a little bit. So, get y by itself. Well, I know that this is in the wrong spot and this is in the wrong spot. So let's go ahead and add 12x. Add 12x. But while I'm at it, if you don't mind, I'm going to use 2 colors so that it helps us see what I'm doing. I would also love to get rid of this plus 6. So I'm going to minus 6 and minus 6 also. I know I'm stepping up your game just a little bit. So what do we have? Well, these cancel and these cancel. So I have 3y is equal to, well, this is 0 plus 12x minus 6. Now, let's divide by 3. Let's divide by 3. Let's divide by 3. And I have y is equal to 4x minus 2. If you could, please, go ahead and label your slope and your y-intercept. Slope, 4, y-intercept, 0, negative 2. Always going to write it as a coordinate. Always. Okay, wait. You need to pause? Go ahead. Pause. And then we're going to move on. Okay, the next thing. Write the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with the given slope, which is m, and y-intercept, which is b. What are we looking for here? We're writing an equation in slope-intercept form. What slope-intercept form? Well, I'm glad you asked. Y equals mx plus b. In order to do this, beautiful people, you need 2 things. What we like about this example is they give me the 2 things that I need. So if it's y equals mx plus b, well, instead of m, what should I write? I'm pointing to it, obviously. So 4x plus b plus negative 2. I'm going to tell you now, if you were to leave your answer like that, I would probably, not probably, let's just be honest, I'm going to take off a point. I hate this double sign. So you're going to do 4x, it's not simplified. What's a positive times a negative? Minus 2. That's it. This is 100%. This is 4 out of 4. This is 3 out of 4. So you got to pick. Pick this one. Make good choices. Alright, go ahead and press pause if you want to. Otherwise, go ahead and do part B. My bad. and you get y is equal to 0.25x plus 6. That's it. Y equals mx plus b. Luckily my b's and my 6's look alike, so you wouldn't have known if I got that wrong anyways. Okay, what do they want from me next? Well, write the equation in slope-intercept form of each line. Kind of the same thing. Write the equation in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Okay, I believe we can do it. So in order to do that, beautiful people, I need two things. I need the y-intercept, which is the b, and I also need the slope. Remember from 5.1 that the slope is rise over run? What we used was the slope triangle, so we picked 2 points that were on the line. So pick a point here, let's pick a point here. Then I ask you for directions. So to get from point A to B, I need to go up 2. So if I go up 2, that's positive. And then I need to go over 1. I'm moving to the right. And if I'm moving to the right, that's also positive. So my slope is 2. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. Where it crosses the y-axis. So this one crosses at, here's 0, at 1. You see that? This crosses right here at 1. So the b is 1. Notice here, it's not my final answer, so I'm using the m and I'm using the b. But if this was like just the question, what's the slope of this line? What's the y-intercept? I would use the word slope, S-L-O-P, equals 2. Y-intercept equals 1. But right now, no one cares. So you have the same information that you had for part A. You have the m and you have the b. Y is equal to mx, so 2x, plus b, plus 1. And that's your final answer. So number 2, sorry, also known as letter B. I still need the same two things. I need my slope and I need my y-intercept. Slope and m, remember that's interchangeable, except for your final answer like up there. So what's your slope here? It's a flat line. We're flatlining here. So I'm going to go up 0 and over 1, 2, 3, for example. Let's say 4. And over 4, because I just picked this point and this point. So my slope is 0. My y-intercept is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 5. Remembering that y-intercept is just where it crosses the y-axis. So what does that mean? Y equals 0x minus 5? Not really. What's 0 times x? Negative 5. I'm sorry, 0. And then 0 minus 5 is just negative 5. Okay, bueno. Do me a favor, please. Press pause, try C, and then unpause. Okay, I don't know if you paused. I know some of you did, at least half of you, because I trust you that much. Y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. Down 1, right 2, because I went down, it was negative, then positive 2 for the right side, and then plus 4, because it crosses way up here at 4. And then that is a wonderful final answer for you all. Okay, next thing I'm going to have you do while you're waiting for the next video to show up here, write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form that passes through the given point. So I'm going to remind you, this is your formula. M equals y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Let's label x1, y1, x2, y2. Do me a favor while you're exiting out of this one and going on to the next one. Find the slope of each of these lines, x1, y1, x2, y2. I'd like for you, in between videos, to find the slope, because I'm going to start with that in my next video, and I'm already going to have the slope calculated. Keep up with your girl. Okay, thank you so much. That was part 1. I'll see you for part 2 in a little bit.